You think My Singing Monsters started in 2012? Well, you're wrong. My Singing Monsters wasn't even the first game in My Singing Monsters history. We aren't talking about Big Blue Bubble, just the My Singing Monsters franchise for some context. Today we are diving into the absolute history of every My Singing Monsters franchise app that has ever been made. We're talking about the lost ancestors that paved the way for the monster world. Thumpies. Before they were on Cold Island, they were their own game. Look at these original designs, they were actually a bit creepy. Thumpies was a rhythm game that released on February 17th, 2010. Thumpies is set in a universe known as the Thumpyverse, a universe distinct from the monster world. However, plenty of the content from the game, such as the characters, iconography, and the environments, have been referenced multiple times in different ways across the My Singing Monsters franchise. Most notably, the inclusion of Thumpies as a monster in the original My Singing Monsters game. The game was removed from all online application stores at about 2023. The main gameplay for Thumpies is to tap on each drum at the right time and the Thumpies collide with them. Each of the Thumpies will bounce around each drum either from outside the screen or from drum to drum. Unlike most rhythm games, the game detects accuracy on timing rather than a series of taps, with more points being earned for accurate timing. Each level comes with a select number of stages, which are the separate parts of each song. Each part will have Thumpies hop across the drums in a different rhythm, and the player must tap the hit drums correctly to slowly fill the progress bar up to the top. The bar is divided into 3 segments, with each one filling changed. The expression of the green Thumpy to the right will be disappointed or excited. I don't really get what that means. When all 3 segments of the bar are filled, the stage will be completed and the tap to continue message appears, prompting the player to move on to the next stage. Each mistake will deplete from the progress bar bit until it becomes empty once again. Occasionally, different coloured butterflies will fly across the screen. When tapped, they will be collected, signified by the butterfly with a new number over it, on the left of the progress bar. Butterflies can be used to unlock new Thumpy to use while playing. If a Thumpy collides with a butterfly, it will eat it, causing it to disappear. Additionally, if you have any butterflies collected, lowering the progress bar until it's empty will make them fly away, leaving you with 0 butterflies. However, these can still be recollected if the player is fast enough. Typically, purple and blue butterflies will appear most often, with the red ones appearing the least. There have been a total of 17 levels in the game, each one with their own unique song. An unused 18th level called Ogrend was intended to appear in the game as well, but that never ended up happening. Dave Kerr, one of the original people who worked on Thumpies, has stated he doesn't think anything was made for the level except the name. Here are all the old Thumpy designs: Newbie, Furface, Rot, Tawoo, Flippy, Gog, Roots, Cal, Anyanka, Mosh, Boo, Shesh, Gooey, Ski, Yuckles, Mace, Chomp, Cartooth, Is It Fwoot, Recess and Butter. I probably said some of those names wrong, that's my bad. Flinger Thing is a discontinued game made by Big Blue Bubble for iOS, Android and Adobe Flash. Many aspects of Flinger Thing have been featured in the My Singing Monsters game, due to the games residing in a shared multiverse. Flinger Thing is an arcade-style game where you stretch and fling creatures called things into the air to collect bubbles, while managing your limited number of shots. At the beginning of each level, a wave of bubbles appears for you to collect. After collecting all the bubbles, the next level starts and a new wave of bubbles is released. At the start of each level, shots are added to your counter. The first 15 level up rewards 2 shots and the rest only give 1. This, in combination with power-ups, can allow you to conserve or gain extra shots so you can get a higher score. When you run out of shots, you lose. After 5 levels, there is the climbing section with glass platforms to climb up to the next set of 5 levels. As you climb up, the background also moves up. These sections don't expand on any of your shots and have multiple extra shot power-ups to collect. Following a climbing section, there is always a predictable level whose bubbles are placed in set positions to form an image. Starting at level 20, a monster spawns every 10 levels, who you need to avoid while collecting all the bubbles. If you hit the monster, it spits out more bubbles that need to be popped. Throughout the game, collectible stars will spawn. These can be used to buy more worlds, things, or power-up boosts. During the course of the game, some levels will feature power-ups to help collect more bubbles or add extra turns. They can spawn at the beginning of the level with the bubbles or throughout the level. Power-ups can be upgraded with the stars in the power-up store. Starting at level 25, all levels will have a secondary area above the main level, which is only accessible by arrows that will boost you up if you touch them. This area has fruit to collect and 2 bell power-ups that gives 3 extra shots each. The fruits found in these games is used in the feeding ground, which is an area outside of the main game. In the feeding ground there are no turns and you can place a fruit for your things to eat. Eating this fruit will produce stars. After the thing is full, you can stay in the feeding ground placing bubbles instead of fruit. I'm doing a 720 diamond giveaway in my Discord server when we reach 500 members, so make sure to join back with a link in the description and like and subscribe so you never miss a giveaway. My Singing Monsters. My Singing Monsters was a Hail Mary for Big Blue Bubble, and if My Singing Monsters didn't release, Big Blue Bubble would have shut down. My Singing Monsters is a 2012 video game, the original game of the My Singing Monsters franchise and the sequel to My Singing Monsters Dawn of Fire set after the latter's events. Developed and published by Big Blue Bubble Incorporated. It is the first game released in the second chronologically. It is a world builder simulation game where the player develops groups of monsters which sing and play music as a virtual band. The game has been released for iOS, Android, Amazon, PlayStation Vita and Windows platforms. The game was published by Big Blue Bubble with support of the Canada Media Fund on August 23rd to 22nd of 2012 in Canada and on September 4th, 2012 globally. Since then, there were many updates to the game that add new monsters, islands and gameplay elements and released on various platforms. There is not much I need to say about MSM, so I'm going to move on to Dawn of Fire. They are the most played games in the franchise and the flagship launch, so a lot of details are already known about them, so they do not need to be repeated. Dawn of Fire, the prequel for MSM Dawn of Fire. It is more lore-based and introduced the fire monsters. My Singing Monsters Dawn of Fire is the prequel game of the My Singing Monsters franchise set before the original game plots. It is the first chronological game of the franchise. It was first announced on Twitter and YouTube simultaneously on September 4th, 2015. The iOS version of the game was first released in Canada on September 8th, 2015, and was then released worldwide on September 23rd, 2015. The Google Play Android version of the game was released a few days later on September 25th, 2015. The Amazon Kindle version of the game was eventually released on November 21st, 2015, with the Amazon App Store Android version releasing soon after on November 28th, 2015. It introduced teleporting through a new structure, new feed mechanics, and baby/adult forms of monsters. My Mammott and my PomPom are pretty similar, so we are going to cover them under one section. My Mammott was a spin-off of the My Singing Monsters franchise made by Big Blue Bubble. This game is free to play on iOS, Android devices, and on Amazon until it was no longer supported. When you start the game for the first time, you start by receiving an egg you have to tap on multiple times to hatch a Mammott. A tutorial is followed by that. You can talk to Mammott and he will repeat everything you say with a monstery voice. You can also poke his head, belly, back or feet. Shaking the device will cause an earthquake. Shaking the device will cause an earthquake, that is crazy. Tapping the monster button in the bottom right corner will show a list of commands he can do. He can sing, dance and do tricks, but most of his abilities have to be unlocked by leveling up. Clicking the donut/apple button in the bottom left corner gives you a list of treats you can feed Mammott. Feeding him enough treats and leveling up Mammott, which then allows for new tricks, new treats and occasionally a new world to explore. The maximum level the player can get is level 15. Following items are available for Mammott to eat. Cookie, unlocked at level 1. Bread, unlocked at level 2. Donut, unlocked at level 4. Pizza, unlocked at level 6. Pie, unlocked at level 10. Cake, unlocked at level 12. There are 3 islands in the game as well as the new world. They are Plant Island, Cold Island and the Air Island, as well as the real world. Although the Mammott is the star of the game, Thumpies and Cybop appear in the minigame. In said minigame, you fling Thumpies at Mammott to win points. Hitting Mammott 5 times in a row gets you more Thumpies to throw at him. Sometimes Cybop appears during the minigames. When you fling Thumpies at Cybop, you win 1 diamond. The minigame ends when you run out of Thumpies. You can play the Wheel of Fortune to win diamonds. It can only be played once per 4 hours. According to Big Blue Bubble, you can poke his head, belly, back or feet, feed him treats such as cookie or donuts, shake the phone to create an earthquake for him, make Mammott dance, do tricks and sing, interact with him in different environments including the real world, play a minigame where you need to fling Thumpies at Mammott for diamond rewards, record and share videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter or send them by email. There was also a Korean version of My Mammott called My Monster Mammott. Not much is known about this game at all, there is only a couple screenshots of this game as well. My PomPom was a spin-off to the My Singing Monster game released by Big Blue Bubble. It was available on Android and iOS until it was no longer supported. It was essentially a clone of My Mammott but with PomPom instead, although there were some slight differences which set them apart. Examples include reactions that got changed to suit how a cheerleader reacts, such as how when the player touches PomPom's hand, the monster gets angry over being touched. Food in My PomPom is different from the food in Mammott, and all of the food items are pink or red because of PomPom's in-game description in the main game. A pink cookie sprinkled with colourful sprinkles replaces the traditional chocolate chip cookie. A strawberry dipped in chocolate replaces a stick of bread. A cotton candy on a stick replaces the traditional donut. A small cupcake in cupcake wrap replaces the cheesy pepperoni pizza slice. A sundae with pink icing cream and a strawberry replaces the cranberry pie slice, while a tuna sushi replaces the large piece of chocolate cake. The minigame was played by tapping on each half of a device's screen to toss a cheerleader's PomPom from one bare hand to the other. The PomPom is juggled correctly if the PomPom is tapped when it is over one of the PomPom's hands. More points are earned through juggling multiple PomPoms. Diamonds are rewarded and can be earned in the minigame by tossing a PomPom with a diamond symbol on it. The game ends once you drop all your PomPoms. Even the backgrounds were different. The start round is Water Island with no decorations. Plant Island includes pink bows for decoration. Cold Island includes pink Christmas lights and a cold PomPom, while Air Island features coloured lanterns. However, there were still some similarities, including the 4-hourly spin the wheel where prizes of diamonds can be won. However, these diamonds are not a premium currency. Diamonds are used to buy treats, which level up the monster, gaining access to new treats and new actions to choose from. There is also the option of exploring the real world and playing with the PomPom there. There was no Korean version for My PomPom 2. My Singing Monsters also had puzzle games, with them being Furcorn's Jelly Dreams and Jammer Splash. Let's cover them too. Furcorn's Jelly Dreams was a spin-off match-free game of the My Singing Monsters franchise. It was soft-launched in Canada and wasn't made public anywhere else. Big Blue Bubble has officially stated it had been discontinued in favour of Jammer Splash and that there were no plans to release the game or continue development on it. It was then removed from the Canadian App Store following Big Blue Bubble's statement that it was discontinued. Coincidentally, its successor was no longer supported and eventually removed years later. The game features a Furcorn that dreams about different eggs from various islands to become hatched. Player has to pass with a match-free game sort of gameplay. Passing enough levels earns a new egg and thus a new monster. Unlike most match-free games, the jellies cannot be switched and must instead be either popped or swiped to produce matches. However, popping and swiping jellies does not have to produce a matching triplet. The game itself is based off the concept of match-free games. Basically, the player has to match 3 or more jellies to remove them and gain points. Having enough points can make the player pass the level, assuming that the other criteria in a level has been met too. Instead of switching jellies, the player either pops one square of jelly or swipes a whole jelly. Completing certain levels will hatch a certain monster egg on the map nearby. The monster will begin contributing to the song. There are 10 monsters for 2 songs on the map. Plant Island, Furcorn, Bogart, Noggin, Octopus, Gas. Cold Island, Deej, Quibble, Mammott, Toadjammer, Sponge. The following monsters were likely planned for Air Island: Rebro, Tweedle, Frog, Riff, PomPom. The game had only 150 levels, 75 for each island. If level 150 was passed, the game would show a pop-up saying coming soon when the next level was tapped. This is where Air Island levels would have started if the game hadn't been discontinued. The full version of the game would have gotten 375 levels for each of the natural islands. Furcorn's Jelly Dreams was only available in the Canada store and wasn't added globally as it was in beta testing. When the game was connected to Facebook, you could see where friends were along the map as their Facebook icon displayed where they had gotten up into in the game so far. Furcorn's Jelly Dreams eventually became Jammer Splash. Big Blue Bubble released a statement that Furcorn's Jelly Dreams was discontinued and that they were using the game to experiment with the idea of a My Singing Monsters match-free game on their website. Following fans pleading for a response towards why the game was discontinued after My Singing Monsters YouTuber MSM Gamer made a live stream asking fans to speak out to Big Blue Bubble to get a response on why the game hasn't been made available globally. Jammer Splash. Jammer Splash was a block-popping puzzle spin-off to My Singing Monsters and successor to the short-lived Furcorn's Jelly Dreams. It was soft-launched in the UK on May 3rd, 2016 and was officially released worldwide on Android and iOS on November 18th, 2016. Since 2018, it has been discontinued with it no longer being accessible through the App/Play stores and the game servers no longer running. The exact date is unknown, but its removal happened sometime between 2021 and 2022. In the game, you accompany a toe jammer going through different lands while travelling through Jammerland and meeting other monsters along the way. You play by popping jammer blocks in groups of 2 or more that touch each other. In order to pass the level, you need to meet the level criteria, which can vary from gaining the needed amount of points to popping the correct amount of jammer blocks. Once you pass a certain amount of levels, you will reach a gift box which contains some diamonds and sometimes some power-ups, which are different monsters who help you complete the level. There are various amount of jammers. The main 6 are the blue jammer, pink jammer, red jammer, yellow jammer, purple jammer and the green jammer. They all function the same and can match to pop or create jammer jars. Fire jammers unlock when you make it to the cold levels and have the same functions as the normal one, except it has the special ability to not be able to freeze and to be able to break ice if next to it when matching. It can't be frozen if it's in the form of a jammer jar either. The rainbow jammer is unlocked when you reach the tropical levels, which are the last 100. They function the same as the normal ones, except they can change colour in order to match others. For example, if you combine a rainbow jammer with a pink one, it turns into a pink one. Along with this, rainbow jammers have the ability to paint any colour. My Singing Monsters Composer. This is another well-known app, so we won't cover too much. My Singing Monsters Composer is a music tool app that features dozens of lovable monsters from the My Singing Monsters franchise. Combine the unique vocal, percussive and instrumental sounds of each monster to create your own original compositions. Plus, enjoy new sounds for your favourite rare monsters. It contains a variety of features that aren't available in the normal Composer round. It costs $4 USD on the Google Play Store and the App Store. I've decided not to cover the Chinese/Korean versions of My Singing Monsters as there is not much content and this video is meant to be 15 minutes. It's crazy. There'll be a separate video covering these apps though. Thank you so much for watching. This is a longer deep dive video, so I hope you enjoyed and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.